What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. It's time to continue our 2023 schedule preview and projected records for the 2023 college football season. We continue them with the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cincinnati coming off a 9-4 season in 2022 overall, 9-3 in the regular season. New era, though, for this Cincinnati team, and also a new conference heading into 2023. They're one of the newcomers in the Big 12, just like we mentioned from yesterday's video of the BYU video. You can go back and watch their schedule preview and projected record video if you want to. Cincinnati, though, coming in with a new head coach with Scott Satterfield. Luke Fickell is now at Wisconsin, so Cincinnati kind of in a new era mode right now. And the question is, how good will Cincinnati be in their first year in the Big 12? Here's the schedule for them in 2023. And you look at who they'll play in the non-conference. They'll play Eastern Kentucky. They'll play Pittsburgh on the road out of the ACC. Then they'll play Miami of Ohio, University of the Red Hawks here. So they'll play their three non-conference games here to kick off the month of September. And we know they're going to be playing almost every single Big 12 team on this schedule. So let's go game by game now for this Cincinnati team. Like I just mentioned, three non-conference games here to kick off in 2023. In the month of September, they'll play Eastern Kentucky, Pittsburgh on the road, and then Miami of Ohio, University Red Hawks. Pittsburgh will be a tough one there on the road on September 9th. Then they'll play Oklahoma to kick off Big 12 play on September 23rd. Then they'll play BYU on the road on a Friday night on September 29th. That will be an interesting game there. Of course, BYU, one of the newcomers in the Big 12. They'll get a bye week after playing that weeknight game. They'll play Iowa State here on October the 14th. Then they'll play Baylor here at home on October 21st. So they'll get back-to-back home games there in the month of October. Then, of course, they'll play Oklahoma State here on the road on October the 28th. Then they'll play UCF after that on November 4th. Then they'll play Houston here on the road as well on November the 11th. Then they'll play back-to-back road games here against West Virginia as well. So they'll play back-to-back road games here in the month of November, and that's really the only back-to-back on this schedule for Cincinnati. It's Houston and West Virginia. And then they'll end things out here with Kansas on November 25th. So schedule is not overall too bad for Cincinnati. Of course, Pittsburgh in the non-conference makes it a lot tougher, but you don't have to play Kansas State, Texas, or Texas Tech there. And also, I mean, the schedule really sets up nicely for them. They do have to play all the newcomers in the Big 12, BYU, UCF, and Houston. So, and those projected records are coming throughout the last 2 days here when we finish these projections. So, Cincinnati, a favorable schedule for them. I think, this could be a really good team this year, but you never know about them. Cincinnati, obviously, with a new era coming in. Scott Satterfield now the head coach. How good will they be now with him as the head coach? And also, how good will this team be in their first year of the Big 12? So let's now get to the projection here for this Cincinnati team. This is the scale that we use for our projection. If it's a 1% game, these are games where Cincinnati has no chance of winning. 20%, it'll be about a couple touchdowns of underdogs in the orange. 40% in the yellow, these are games where they're going to be a heavy underdog in, about a touchdown underdog. 50-50 games, these will stay in the white. Games where they can go either way. 60%, they'll be favored by at least a touchdown. 80% in the blue, these are games where they're going to be favored by a couple touchdowns and double digits. And then 90%, these are the easy wins here for Cincinnati in the green. So we're going to start with the easy wins here for Cincinnati. I think you've got a couple of them on the schedule, Eastern Kentucky and Miami of Ohio. I think you have no business to lose both of these games, in the month of September. It would be a really big shock if Cincinnati started out, maybe 1-1 on the year, but also maybe 0-3. I think they should get that win, though, against Eastern Kentucky there on September 2nd. That should be an easy win there. And then Miami of Ohio, I think they do have a really good shot to still win that one by more than 3 touchdowns. So I think both of these games you can favor Cincinnati by more than 3, and these are the easy wins here for Cincinnati. I don't have any blue or purple games on this schedule for Cincinnati, and I also don't have any red games here on this schedule. So let's go to the games now where they're going to be about a couple touchdowns of underdogs in the 20% range. And actually, I don't have any orange games as well. So I meant to say we don't have any orange games either. But I do have 2 yellow games. That's Pittsburgh on the road and Oklahoma at home. So, like I said, I don't have any orange games. I really don't see any games on here that Cincinnati really doesn't have any chance to win in. But these yellow games right here, Pittsburgh and Oklahoma, are very winnable games based off of where these two teams were from last year. I got to put both of these games in the yellow. But I think these games could really switch to 50-50 games by the time that we do those predictions in the month of May, which are still to come in a couple months. So I think Cincinnati, I think these are very winnable games for them in the yellow. So Pittsburgh and Oklahoma are very winnable games. So I think they'll be heavy underdogs, though, right here in the yellow as for right now. And the rest of the games here for Cincinnati, BYU, Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, UCF, Houston, and West Virginia, and then Kansas. These are all 50-50 games. Very winnable games for Cincinnati as well. And I got to tell you, they have a bunch of 50-50 games. Kind of the same thing with BYU from yesterday. And, when you look at these newcomers in the Big 12, it's really hard to tell how good they're going to be in their first year in the Big 12. We talked about BYU yesterday. We're talking about Cincinnati today. Tomorrow we'll talk about UCF, and then we'll talk about Houston on Thursday. Again, we don't know how good these teams will be in their first year in the Big 12. And, of course, Cincinnati, they just have a lot of question marks with Scott Satterfield now as their head coach. I kind of was, shocked about, Scott Satterfield being the hire for Cincinnati. I thought they would go with somebody else that used to be a Group of 5 team. But now Cincinnati is now considered a Power 5 team. And I really like how Cincinnati is in this conference now. It gets some good competition, and then maybe have a really good shot, to maybe be the future of the Big 12. So I think all these games, though, I think are all pretty much 50-50 games for Cincinnati. Let's now get to the projected record for this Cincinnati team. Again, not my official prediction. This is simply a projection based on this schedule, and it's a pretty favorable schedule for Cincinnati. Again, no Texas, no Kansas State, no Texas Tech on this schedule, but you do have to play Baylor here at home, and I think their toughest road game is definitely Oklahoma State. That would be their toughest road game there. Maybe BYU perhaps, but again, let's now get to the projection here. So if you look at the games that Cincinnati's favored in, the only couple games that they're favored in, and also you count these yellow games here as their heavy underdog games, and then of course you got all the 50-50 games in the white. You get an overall projected record for this Cincinnati team at 6-6 for 2023. So 6-6 as of right now for this Cincinnati team. It's very possible they can go 7-5, maybe 5-7 though. I think worst case scenario for this Cincinnati team, it will probably be 4-8. If they do go 4-8, that's kind of a big disappointment for this Cincinnati team, considering they come off a 9-4 season last year. But like I said, it's a new era for this Cincinnati team. Scott Satterfield, he does have experience with the college game, but how well will he motivate this Cincinnati team heading into 2023? But that's my overall projected record as of right now for this Cincinnati team. Let me guys know what you think about this Cincinnati team. What do you think their best case scenario will be in 2023? What else do you think? What do you think their worst case scenario what do you think their worst case scenario will be in 2023 as well? And stay tuned here for more sports content on the Lucas Ross Sports Channel.